In this video, I'm going to show you how to propagate Gladiolus. So this is a nice big chunk of Gladiolus that I just pulled out of the soil. And so they're going to grow as stacked entities on top of each other, and we're going to need to pick them apart every so often so they'll keep flowering for us. So to do that, first I just grabbed a big clump, and I'm just going to take and just kind of tease this soil out with my hands, and then pull out these individuals. Something like this. Okay, so look, it looks like I've got a couple of things going on here. And we'll keep just kind of teasing this out. Oh, look, I found a little bitty tiny one. So the tiny ones, a lot of times come from seed. So the seed would have dropped on the ground from the gladiolus. Oh, here's another one. Oh no, that's a bulb. We got some bulbs in here too. So those, you can still plant those little propagules, but they're going to take like 2 to 3 years to flower for you, just like we saw with that lily scaling. It's just going to take it a while to get big enough to be able to grow for you. So here's another one that we got. Oh, yep, I got a mushy piece on that side. That's going to be the hats that we need to remove. Okay, and then look, I have a couple of really tiny ones. So this little tiny guy here, that's so dinky, right, compared to the big ones. That would have been a seed that dropped on the ground. It's still going to grow and flower and be beautiful, so it's totally worth planting. It's just you're going to have to be a little bit patient for getting a result out of it. All right, so there we go. We've removed, oh, did I see another one? There it is. We've removed the gladiolus from the soil here. Oh, there's another one. Oh, there's another one. So if you go to reuse this soil for something else, you might end up being pleasantly surprised in a couple of years or a little while that you're ending up with a gladiolus also in your potting mix just because it got left behind. All right, so now that we have them divided up like that, just out of our clump and a little ways away from the rest of the soil, we can start picking apart some of these entities. So this is one where we've got 2 different organisms that are attached here at the base, and we're just gonna pull and tug and remove them from each other like that. Okay. Now I have one little gladiolus right here that's ready to plant, and then over here I have another one. This piece right here, let's see here. This piece is part of that basal plate that grew last year. So the way that they grow is they stack on top of each other, like you put hats on top of each other. And so we're just going to pick off this old hat because all it's going to do is rot. It's not going to provide you with any nutrients. It's not going to grow anything else. If anything, it might rot and transfer that rot over to your healthy material. Okay, so now we have this one that's separated from the main hat. And then here, this is the one that when I touched it last, it felt a little bit mushy, and so this one has another hat, but this one is incredibly squishy. You can see like it's like a reddish brown instead of being brown like the rest of the soil, so that's how I know it's the old hat. And then as you're cleaning these up, if you're going to store them for a little while and harden them off, you can peel off these papery things on the outsides. These are remnant fibers that are left over from old leaves. And this actually has a lot of individual nodes on it that you could possibly propagate. So here I've kind of cleaned that up and removed it. Remember, this is what the inside of that corm looks like. So you've got this fleshy portion on the outside. Here's the basal plate. Down here is where your root initials come from. And up here is your new flowering shoot that's going to come out and grow. This is one that I had pulled out that was a little bit more hardened off. I pulled it out the other day so that we could see the different hats on here. Here I've got 3 hats. 1, 2, and then this is the old hat on the bottom. So I'm going to pick that off. And it still has quite a bit of root for that, right? So that can go right into the ground now. Here's that old hat. See how much browner it is? And if we peel apart those scales, there's really nothing inside. It's just mushy. So we're going to pick that old hat off. And now you can see a remnant from the basal plate there. Oh my gosh, the lighting is getting bad. And then this is already starting to form more roots at the bottom. So this is another one that we can go ahead and plant. One of the interesting things about Gladiolus is that the color of the corm, for the most part, corresponds with the color of the flower. So here I have an example of an orange one, which will probably turn peach, a red one, this is probably going to turn purple actually, and then a yellow one, which oftentimes turns like a white color or sometimes even a pale yellow. If you're going to purchase them at the store, sometimes you can just find them in these little bulb boxes like this. And this says it comes with 8 bulbs. And when you get them, they still have their papery covering on the outside. This looks like it's starting to form root primordia here, but that basal plate, you can tell where they've picked off the old hats. So you're only getting these new hats. And it looks like most of these, oh, look at those colors in there. This is kind of a peachy color on the inside, but it looks like the flower is going to turn purple. That's very interesting, if they got that right. If you order them online through like a bulb company, a lot of times they'll come in this kind of packed package like this that has the holes in it so that they can still breathe. And these ones, when you order them online, you might be getting second-year seed propagules. This one is going to be a little bit smaller in general just because this is a wild ancestor species. But look, they sent me the old hat here. So isn't that funny? They may have included that old hat. They might have included that old hat to increase the weight. But that's going to be something that before I plant this, I'm probably going to want to pick that old hat off and then just let my my seed go, or my bulb go. And so corm, it's a corm. I'm going to let my corm grow. These might not flower for me this year. This might take 2 years to flower because it is small. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see as they grow. All right, so there you go. That's your overview of corms. This, again, is an observational exercise only, so there is no data to record for this. I just wanted you to be able to see what these things look like and know a little bit about their structure. Commercially, they are super important as a cut flower, and it is something that Luther introduced again. He's the one that really made it so that you have all these compact flowers on one stem instead of them being like kind of sparsely distributed on one stem.